used just the links that you used to sign in, but somehow Zoom must have thought I was still Brian.
Yeah.
And that just screwed things up somehow. So I kind of went back in and manually put in the meeting number and the passcode. Sorry, folks.
Okay. I thought I was being blocked.
No,
Well, you were.
you were, but not intentionally. Put it that way.
It was my computer acting up. Who knew?
Speaking of being blocked, when I sent the email out today from Constant Contact,
Oh,
it showed that it had a bounced email, which means that it tried to send it and it didn't send it. And I went and looked at it. It was mine. It couldn't send the email to me because it said my email was suspended.
Okay, well, Brian, I CC'd you on, I think it might have been an email to John the other day about whether he was interested in doing the
I got that information. Yeah.
You did get that one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. One of the emails, it was after your power outage.
Okay.
I got an email back that said your account was gone or something or another. I just figured it had something to do with your outage.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I got it fixed. It seems to be working. I've been receiving all your other emails I've got today. So,
okay, that's good.
So everything seems to be okay. I had to call or get a hold of Constant Contact and get them to fix it for me. I said, like it's the email that it's saying suspended is the one that owns the account. You need to.
That could be a problem.
Yeah, they fixed it within seconds. It was no big deal, but.
Well, Brian, coincidentally, you had your power outage the other day. We had a power outage last night from about 5 to 9 o'clock or so. Apparently there was an accident down in Mount Pleasant Road and took out the line.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, really? Yeah.
Missed that one.
It's funny, Marty, when you text me, or however it is you text me, it comes through as a text message to my phone, and then I get an email of everything that you text me as well.
that's because one time I did that to make sure you were gonna get my message.
Oh, so if I text you, like I responded, you texted me and I responded to you, I get an email with my response in it too.
Oh, that's because it's coming from my email too, probably.
Oh, okay.
My mom manages to do that when she tries to text me, and instead of getting a text, I get an email from her phone number.
Yeah.
I don't know how she's managing to do that.
I do that too, but I get my responses back too. So when I texted her, she texted me and I texted her and said, we're having problems, hold please. And I got an email that said, I got an email with my response to her.
Because it's in Gmail.
Oh, okay. It's weird.
But anyways, one day I needed to get a hold of you, and so I just hit everything that belongs to you and sent it. I said, he'll answer one of them. Stop doing that. But at least I know you're getting my information.
Oh, I definitely get it. That's for sure.
Well, now you can't say you're ignoring me. Or you could.
So how's everybody doing? Sorry I missed y'all on Monday night. I came home to a house with no power, which are no heat, and no explanation. So I ended up actually spending the night in a motel for the evening because they said they would have to come out, but they couldn't come out till the next day. So,
hey, I have extra bedrooms.
Yeah, but then I got to be back in.
Call in sick for about an hour extra.
Yeah.
So was it just your house you're saying?
Huh? It was just my house.
What did they find out was wrong?
I have no idea. When I came home Tuesday night from work, the electricity was on. I didn't ask no questions and they didn't leave me no notes. So So we'll let it go as that. It's back on and it's been on. So so far so good.
Just keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah. I come home and look at the there's, you all know I keep my windows like closed up so you can't see in, but there's one window that is cracked. The way I drive into the house, you can catch the light on the inside. If the light's on in the house, you can see it from outside. And I came home last night and went, oh, cool, there's lights in there. But anyhow, so how was the meeting? What anything exciting go on? Anything I missed I need to know about?
A lot of discussion on shows like Feathers and what the purpose is and managing the cost and expectations. And
I'm kind of assuming that from the onslaught of emails that I've received today through the officers about shows.
That pretty much covers it, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Well-
looking at my notes because I haven't typed the minutes yet. Sorry, Marty. One of the things I'll probably be doing while I'm here, I'll be listening and talking, but I have to clean my desk so that I can type the minutes.
All right. So
Good for the increase.
some of what I got from that, I guess we can discuss that a little bit tonight if you guys want to. It don't matter to me. Whatever y'all want to do. It's Wednesday night. I don't care. But
Okay with me.
some of what I was picking up from that was that we weren't 100% satisfied with the tables at Feathers being put in front of the photographs, which I can understand, but at the same point, it's her building. She can do whatever the hell she wants. We have to consider that as well. And it's been an odd year. I know last year when we had our pictures there was nothing like that done that we know of. Those of you that went back and visited, did you have that issue there last year?
No.
Now, I think she had them in the back behind, in that little room where we had the reception part.
Yeah.
yeah, this year's exhibition was much better.
So I'm thinking that
Dennis, I'm sorry, would you repeat what you just said?
I said this year's exhibition was better than last year's.
I'm curious why you say that.
Because the photos I thought were well organized. More so this year than last year.
Interesting. I be honest, my opinion would be just the opposite, but
Oh, yeah. Well, it's been a long time since last year, so.
Yeah, it's been at least 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
absolutely. And that was just last week.
You know, I sort of raised the issue. I had 2 prints, one which Annie framed, and I had $300 on that wall. And put $300 on the wall, and there's 10 or 15 or 20 other members, all of whom put some financial investment in the show. And the return on the investment was 0. So, and I thought, and so my thinking was, we shouldn't do that. But then I was thinking last night, the night before, that maybe my expectations are wrong. Maybe my expectation that we sell some is an incorrect expectation. And the expectation should be, it's an opportunity to exhibit photographs. And if the latter is the case, then we just need to find a way to make it economically make sense. And John's idea, you go to Walmart and you buy a $9.99 60 by 20 frame. You put the print in the frame, you hang it on the wall, and you got $20 invested in it. And if that presented an acceptable product, then maybe we need to rethink the way we do exhibitions and make them make sense financially.
Well, I can agree with you to some extent on that, but when you're exhibiting with the, let's use Pittsburgh Society of Artists Guild. When you exhibit with them, and John, you're a member of that. Beth, I believe you were or are a member of that.
I am.
When you exhibit with them, they expect a certain amount of professionalism out of the picture and certain frames and certain mats and all that kind of stuff. And because you're exhibiting in an art museum or an art gallery, or I mean, and they exhibit in places like the Carnegie Museum of Art. So you do have a cost involved there, without a doubt, a huge cost. There's pictures that I've hung down there that I had $500 tied up in a picture, printing, framing, everything all done, you know, and you put it on a wall and it hangs out there for a month or a month and a half or however long their show is. And I didn't sell any. So I didn't receive any return to my investment there, but I did get to say I had my picture hanging in this gallery and that gallery and this gallery. And that's kind of the way I approached that. Was I had an opportunity to put my photographs in places that I wouldn't be able to any other way. I can't go there and say, can I put a picture on the wall? Because they won't let you.
Right.
So a return on my cost, or a return on my investment, I never expected any from showing pictures in a gallery or art show. If I sold something, and I have sold a few here and there, that was the added bonus, is the way I looked at it personally. But I never expected to sell anything. And I've even done shows where the whole show was mine. And John, I know you've done that. Beth, I think you may have done that once or twice. But
Yeah, I've at least split a show.
And I've done a couple where I've split with one other artist. But even that, which is an even huger cost to me, I didn't expect anything to come back. I didn't necessarily. I did that because I wanted to do it. I wanted to show the stuff. And I think that's what we have to look at as far as our shows, is it's an opportunity for us to show the work, for us to show our pictures.
Mhm.
Now, cost-wise, that's up to you. I have pictures that I've shown for years that are in the $10 frames that I bought at Walmart. And you know, the frames stay nice. I keep using them. I don't care. So cost-wise is up to you. If you put $300 in a picture and put it up on a wall and ask $600 for it, that's up to you. That's not, I mean, you know, I know that when John puts his pictures up there, we know they're fairly expensive pictures because he showed us how to price them. But you know, the idea of saying, well, we have to make it more cost effective. It is cost effective if you want it to be. Just spend less money getting your print made, getting the stuff done. Our shows, and I think that this is one of the things that we've kind of gotten away from, or losing in our mind, is the WPS shows should be more about promoting the WPS, which would mean we need to be able to include all of our members. So what our shows are supposed to be about is getting, you know, Jimmy that just joined last month into thinking about putting a picture on a wall and getting it up there. And if he feels free, you know, if he wants to charge $40 for his picture, or for advertise it at $40, that's up to him. If that's what he feels it's worth. And we've always done that. And I think that our shows now are getting further and further away from that. We're trying to put up gallery shows, stuff that would be in a gallery. Well, if we're going to do that, then we need to do that in a real gallery. And then we have to figure out how to cover the cost of that. You know, if we're gonna show in, well, Jim, remind me how much it costs to show in a Greensburg art gallery.
It was going to be somewhere around $1,000 or so.
Let's remember.
Right, which we have a member, and we can make that happen. There's a member there that is a member of our club.
Yeah.
So it's still $1,000 to show. All right, Annie, how many people do we normally have involved in our shows? Artists.
10 to 15
All right.
on average, if we're lucky.
That's $100 each.
That's $100 each, just to show. So if I put a prospectus out to our club members and say, hey, we're going to have a show at the Greensburg Gallery, which is what's called the Row Gallery, I think it's called.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. And for you to participate, it's going to cost you $100 just to participate. How many of our members do you think is going to do that?
Not very many.
Not enough to make it 100 each.
Not enough to make it.
Nope.
So now the cost is maybe
It's-
130 or 140, $150 just to participate.
Sometimes it's been hard enough just to get 10 people to participate, to
For free.
put stuff on for free.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the point that I'm getting at. I realize that Feathers isn't the best place to show, but it is a place for us to show. And it doesn't cost you anything other than whatever you put into your print to show there. So if you approach it with the idea of, hey, yeah, I'm gonna put less into this. I'm not gonna spend $300 or $400 or $500 to have my print put on the wall down there. Then maybe you have a chance of selling it because it is going to be cheaper for people coming in. But it's at least a place to show that didn't cost you a small fortune. Now, I know
Right.
I was showing in Pittsburgh and showing with PSA and with the Associated Artists of Pittsburgh and doing that. I mean, it was costing me several $100s a month just in entry fees to try to get into shows. That wasn't even guaranteed to get into shows.
Right.
So our shows are free. We don't charge anything for for an entry fee. We don't judge. We accept everyone that wants to participate in it, and we get them on the wall. Which I think is what we need to pay attention to as far as the WPS goes. Now, if you want to do a bigger show or a better show, then we have to figure out how to step up to the plate with the money. Really is how I look at it. I did a search, as Beth mentioned in her one email. There's only a couple galleries around the area that you can even do with as far as the Greensburg area. We're not Pittsburgh. In those couple galleries, we're working with. We're working with Feathers. Melissa's going to try to get us into You Are Here, which is a little bit more of a gallery, but they're only open 3 days a week, which is common among a lot of galleries in the Pittsburgh area too. They're open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's normal. But if we can do these for free, it's less cost for us. If they're not free, then we have to start charging an entry fee and then possibly thinking about having pictures judged to see if they get into the show. That's some of my thoughts on this thing. I would rather keep it so that we can get as many of our members to participate and get any new members that we have interested in participating than have to go to the point where we're charging to get into these shows or charging to try to get into these shows, because I think that will limit even more our participation. Thoughts?
I think there's kind of like two sides to the coin that just watching the dialogue going on in this meeting and the other meeting. On the one side, yeah, we want to show art. We want to show the photographs, like you've been saying, and we've been involved in that. But after 8, 10, or 12 years of spending the money, and I think this is what Dennis is saying, where the majority of the time, a lot of your work is just sitting in the closet with all that money that you've spent on it. And it's the frustration between those two sides of the coin of, is there a way we could generate some revenue to maybe offset that and still preserve the need to show our art to the community? I think that's really the gist of it. I mean, I think that's the middle ground. So I just wanted to add those words.
I have a tendency, because I did a show with somebody else. I think it was actually before Nate. I'm not sure. Or when he was like tiny. And I had to have 11 photos framed and hung. And so I said, all right, I'm going to make all of them match. They're going to be Nielsen black metal frames. And that way, in the future, I can just swap stuff out. I still have those same 11 black metal Nielsen frames. If I want to put something else in, they're all 16 by 20 frames. So I can just take off one end, wash the glass, stick something else in, and hang it up. There's like 4 of them hanging on the walls. So when mine are not in somewhere, that's where they tend to be. And I just rotate stuff around.
I do the same thing. I have, bought frames. I have watched for frames to be on sale. And I have been, making sure that my frames are kept in good condition whenever I'm taking them to and from things. And I do the same things. That way it's more cost efficient than, going out. So really I'm just doing a mat board, my photo and one or two or foam core mat board and a photo. So that way then I'm just swapping out what I already have.
Yeah.
I use the same foam core.
I do the same thing. I use the same foam core. I mean, I'm basically swapping out a print. I use the same mat and everything that's in mine, and I've done the same thing. I've bought, 8 or 10 good frames that are hanging here on my wall right now behind me.
Right.
And
Yeah.
if they're going to a show, I pull them apart, just like you said. I put a different picture in it and clean it up and take it to the show.
Yeah.
So that
I
cost,
do the same
but
thing.
that comes over years of time. I mean, I've bought all these frames not yesterday. I bought them 10 years ago or 12 years ago or 15 years ago. And I'm
Yeah.
so my costs for that, my cost to hang a picture at Feathers next month is very minimal if I chose to do that, because it's basically the cost of the print, because my frame and everything's already here and it's already been paid for many times over.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if we have new members that are wanting to do that, it's a new cost to them. So I do agree that we need to, if not make it feasible for them, at least let them know where they can get cheaper stuff if they want to get started, so that they're aware of, they don't have to go in. I'm sorry, Annie, but they don't have to go to Michael's and spend $200 a frame done. They can do
Yeah.
it cheap. They can do it, an easier way.
What
No,
place
but
to
they
sign
can't,
up
they can
for?
come to Michael's and get the frames on sale, whatever they're buy one, get one or 50% off.
Right. There's all kind
Yeah.
of doing, and I've done that for years. I've used those coupons, and I just looked at coupons today that came from Michael's this morning. So, yeah, we all can do that and do that. But what Dennis, I believe, is getting at is even though we're all, those of us that are participating and those of you that are participating, I have, you're not seeing any return on your investment. But I think that we have to understand that hanging a picture in a gallery does not guarantee a return on our investment. I've done it for many years now. John, I know you've done it for many years. John, you even had stuff that was in, forgive me, I can't remember the name of the building on Fifth Avenue down there.
Mm,
The big yellow house.
Yeah, in the gift shop.
In the gift shop.
yeah.
And John, not to put you on a spot, but I'm assuming you only sold a few out of there. If, it wasn't something where you sold a picture every week.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I sold them, but I didn't, like you're saying, you don't sell one a week,
Right.
you get them. And yeah, although it is nice. I mean, first of all, just to be, like you were saying, just to be in that gallery and having your work shown there,
Right.
there's a lot of reward to that. And then following, if you do get a sale occasionally, that's even better. Yeah, I'm just seeing, and I think somebody had mentioned that membership was dropping, and I'm wondering, is that a frustration on the part of people that, yeah, I'm doing this, but I don't seem to be getting any reward out of doing it. Yeah.
From the membership that we've lost and those that were members and have went away, we'll put it that way. The vast majority of the ones that we've lost are members that were counted at the beginning of the year as new members because they joined the camera class. And after 1 or 2 months, they quit coming back, or at the end of the class, they chose not to come back anymore. The vast majority of our members that typically stay for several years before they either lose interest or they move on to something else, or they move out of the area or something of that nature. So the membership loss, especially this year, which I know we had a discussion about the decline in money in the bank account was due to this too, was because we didn't have a beginner's camera class. A lot of our revenue for the club comes from the beginner's camera class. And we didn't have that this year. And it's been an odd year. You know, it's COVID and we weren't allowed to meet. We weren't allowed to do these things and stuff like that. So I wasn't able to do that class. I don't feel that that's a class that would be beneficial to do as a Zoom meeting. I would much rather do that class as a one-on-one because we need to be able to grab the camera and say, hey, look, here's how it works. You know, get your manual out. Let me show you in the manual. So that's the way that class works. So that was a lot of our loss. Our membership loss that I've seen looking at names and yes, I've sat and looked at names and I keep those of you that have the access to the membership list on the Airtable thing can see that there's information in there for several years. And the information that's not in there, I still have from years before that. And the losses are typically from the camera class. We have a good bunch of camera people and we normally get 2 or 3 people out of that. You know, Melissa's one of them that took the camera class and stayed. Marty's one of them. Took the camera class and stayed. Jim's shaking his hands like a crazy person. He took the camera class and stayed. So yeah, we do get, and a lot of times that class produces some of our best members and our most productive members. But we do have quite a big loss out of there always. So we'll show a huge number at the beginning of the year of 70 some members. And then by the end of the year, we really only have the typical what we have now, the 35 or 40 members. So I don't think that our shows are a reason for loss. They may be, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know what the answer is for those that don't come back or those that take the class and don't continue. I don't know what the answer is to that.
Well,
Well, I would agree with you as far as I don't think you can associate the shows or lack of sales at the shows with the drop in membership because, and I could be completely wrong here, but the majority of people who have been in the shows since I've been a member continue to be active members, if you will.
Right.
The people who were kind of coming and going very rarely participated in the shows. That's just my general recollection.
I would say that would be a good generalization of that too. Yes. I mean, they might have participated in 1 or 2 shows or something like that, but they weren't consistent and didn't come to all the shows and stuff like that. So yes.
Hey, this is a slight change in subject, but if you don't mind, we're talking about members. And I think Margie referenced this in one of her emails today, but Claire Kasmerick, who I don't know if she's due paying member this year. I don't think she is.
No, she's
but
not.
She is or has been a member recently. There was an actual article in the Tribune Review today about her. Her photo won judge's first place in the Pennsylvania Forest Association or whatever they're called photo contest. It was a really nice shot of the Youghiogheny River in Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is not a member and she hasn't been a member for maybe 2 years at this point.
Yeah.
But she wasn't
yeah.
before. Yes, absolutely.
But I think she's the example of the type of, we'll call her a past member now, that we might be able to convince in some fashion or other to rejoin the club.
No, Claire won't rejoin the club. She's a loner. She doesn't like crowds. She doesn't like to be around people.
She'd be home by herself.
Yeah.
Claire, and I can tell you this from speaking to her. One of her issues with the club was that we did too much.
Yeah.
And when I say that, you're gonna like, what do you mean? And what I mean is that Claire only photographs landscapes.
Right.
Landscapes only.
All she's interested in.
So
At all.
if we did anything that wasn't a landscape or had something to do with landscape, she had no care for that.
Yeah.
So
Right.
we're not the Westmoreland Landscape Photographer Society. So I couldn't, we as a club couldn't fit her into everything, and she decided that it just wasn't for her. And she's a great person and a great photographer. She's an excellent landscape photographer.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this, if you ask her to take a picture of a car, she have no freaking clue how to do it. I can tell you that. But
And no interest in doing it.
and no interest.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
And everyone here does that.
Right.
Not Dennis loves black and white. Not everybody here loves black and white.
Right.
Margie likes things that are strange. Not everyone here likes things that are strange. We all have our things that we like the most. I have things that I like to photograph more than other things. But as a group, we have to be more rounded, because we have people that like all kind of different things. We have people that like, I'll use Margie as an example. When we have something going on at the club that has to do with portraits,
Oh,
Margie can care
gross.
less.
No,
She doesn't care.
I don't even show up most of the time. I just don't care.
Right. So, but those of you that are interested in portraits, like Melissa and Marty is, and Rex is, and other people are, then we have to have that. So we can't keep everybody happy all the time. I mean, that's just, that's the rule of the game in a club. In any club that I've ever belonged to, or anything that I've ever belonged to, is that way. There's always somebody not going to be happy about whatever it is that's going on. But I think that, coming back to shows, I think that our shows need to represent the club. So, and that's one of the points that I had written down, was that the shows that we are doing, we need to represent them as being Westmoreland Photographer Society shows. Because when you go there, and Jim, I don't know if you did this at Feathers or not. I think you had mentioned that you were going to bring down the thing that talked about the Westmoreland photographers.
Yeah, it was down there.
It was there.
So something like that needs to be at each one of our shows if it's a club show. Otherwise, you go to the show and what you see is 40 pictures on a wall, and we got 3 from John and 3 from Dennis and 4 from Jim. But what are they for? It's just a bunch of people put pictures on the wall. So if we're going to use our shows to promote the Westmoreland Photographer Society, which is part of the reason we have shows, we have to do that. We have to promote the Westmoreland Photographer Society through that show. So that's something that I had written down that we need to continue in the future, or we need to get to in the future with our shows, making sure that we are promoting.
Well, Brian, if you hadn't mentioned the WPS poster, I probably would not have brought this up, but this is another example of my displeasure with Feathers. And it's probably primarily because we had, I'll say, too many prints there to begin with. That, coupled with the flea market tables, that poster was down floor level in front of one of the flea market tables, I believe.
Okay.
So I suspect that anybody that have walked through that show would have never noticed it.
Well, that is a possibility. And I think that it should have been on the wall. That's where I would have wanted it, or on a easel so that it's up high enough where people can see it.
Why not just in the prospectus, say Westmoreland Society member Margie Jinky?
Margie,
That-
the prospectus only goes out to the members. Or do you?
Well, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So that the labels, all right?
That does bring me to the next point. So John came up with some labels, those of you that seen that,
Yes.
and an idea of some labels and producing different things on the labels, or putting different things on the labels. Well, one thing that should be included on the labels is Westmoreland Photographer Society. I think that should be on every label. If it's a club logo, whatever. I don't care what's on there, but something on there that promotes the Westmoreland Photographer Society as a group show. And then if you're going to go do an individual show, do what you want to do. But as far as the group goes, yes, that needs to be on the label on the wall. So that would be one line that I would add, or like Beth said, a logo in a corner, whatever we got to do that it represents the Westmoreland photographers on the label. Just to promote the club. That's the idea of the shows.
as was done in Hannahstown.
Right,
That was a club show,
right.
a well-done club show.
Yes, it was a very well done club show. That was a show that we knew that not every member was going to want to participate in because of the cost. There was a cost to that.
Yes.
We were doing 20 by 30. It's not cheap. You know, but Hannahstown said this is what we want to do after discussion, and we agreed to do that, and we did get some members involved with that, but not as many members as we get involved with a free show at the XX Gallery. You know.
And I think that the solution to the club information being in the right location is maybe when we talk to the facility that we're having our show, just ask them to put it on the wall along with the photos.
Right.
You know, maybe they didn't know that we wanted it on the wall. So if we specifically say we want that up on the wall, then maybe we won't have that problem in the next future.
Yeah, I agree. And that's just,
Communication is one of the things.
it's part of our learning curve when we're doing this, is that we have to remember to do that. When we take it down, we want this, you know, we need this display. This has to be up because it is a club show. You know, when I had shows with the PSA, normally right at the entrance into where they had their stuff at, there would be a statement there about the show, what it is, who's, you know, kind of thing.
Right.
That's our statement. We're the Westmoreland photographers. This is what, you know, this is our work. So we need to do that and make sure that that's available at each one of the shows and up where someone can see it. So if it's in the middle of the wall, in the biggest wall, I don't care. I want it up so people can see it. Because it is, you know.
I was pretty sure it was hanging on the wall. It just was on the one end wall.
Annie, I'm sorry, but no, it was on the floor.
It was on an easel or something at the opening.
Okay. So, and I do believe that the opening pictures I seen had it on an easel, but evidently when they moved the flea market tables in, they took the easel down and just set it there. So it is what it is. I mean, Feathers is over. We can't do anything about it. I think that Feathers was an oddity this year because last year it wasn't like that. We didn't have issues.
No, it was nice.
No, we didn't have any issues. And like I said, I think part of the problem was because Tracy had been closed for several months. She had inventory that she needed to sell, you know, to make room for new inventory. And I guess that's how she figured to do it. And I know that those tables were not up the whole time that the show was up. Because I was down there a couple of times and the tables weren't there.
So here's what I want to say about Feathers. I do believe that we should have another show there. If we continue with the same problem of the flea market tables in front of it and whatnot, then we consider we'll not have another show there. We'll move out. The reason I say I think we should have a show there is because there's not very many places for us to go.
Right.
We go to the Civic Center. We've kind of gotten away from the Civic Center because we decided that wasn't the best place for us to put our pictures. So we found some other places. We got into Feathers last year. It turned out to be a nice show. It worked well, I believe. I think we sold something down there. I'm not sure. Or maybe we can't count that. I think it was Melissa's picture to her mom. So I don't know if we can count that as a club picture show or not. Sell. But anyhow, it was better. This year we're gonna have to kind of cross this year off as a oddity. It's weird. Nothing has been normal. Nothing has been the way it's what we expect it to be.
No.
If we show there again next year and it's the same problem, then yeah, we'll move on from there. But I think we should show there. We've been offered the place. She doesn't charge us anything. That's important to the club that there's no charge.
Well, like I said too, she gives us free advertising. She prints out flyers for us. We don't have to pay for those. All I have to do is send her some pictures, and then she changes out the flyer, and she takes care of all that cost.
Right.
So she's doing us a favor and advertising for us for free.
So with that being said, that is wonderful, but we'll try it one more year is the way I look at it. Now, if you guys all say, no, I don't want to go there and we're not going to participate, then that's a different, we'll discuss that further. But in the meantime, where else can we show? If you want to have shows that are gallery wise, what's it going to cost us? And then
Brian,
what's the cost gonna be to you?
as far as feathers and next year, I would not object to going back there at least one more time. But I think we could help ourselves as well. And I think we've talked about this before. There were too many prints on the wall.
Okay, we already,
We need to limit to what the available wall space is. So the presentation looks half decent.
Okay.
It was really clever.
I do not disagree. I wasn't there, but I've seen the pictures, and I do not disagree that it doesn't hurt to, if we have a place that's capable of holding 30 photographs and we put 50 in there, it's our fault.
You know, Jim, I have exactly the opposite feeling. I thought it was well hung. I thought, you know, they were grouped nicely. They were oriented physically relative to each other quite nicely. Where last year, there were photos you had to get down on your knees to see because they were low on the wall. So I guess, you know, individual perceptions vary dramatically.
I thought that she did a nice job of grouping everything, like Dennis said, grouping everything together. I thought everything looked very, very nice. I did not feel that it was cluttered. I thought the presentation was actually very nice.
But in the context that it should be a WPS show, maybe there should be a limit on one photo per person. I mean, it's a WPS show and you don't need to put 3 or 5 prints in there. You put one. And that would give you 10 or 15 or 20 prints that you could hang on the wall, more gallery-like than the way it was this year.
I would agree with you there. And what I would like to see is a way for us to get more people involved in that one picture. So instead of it being a 10 picture show, it being a 20 picture show from 20 different people. So that's the next point on my list that I had written down here is how do we get more participation in the shows as a WPS show? Because let's face it, our WPS shows are shows of pretty much everyone that's on this screen right now, plus 1 or 2 people. So they're not really WPS shows. They're this group of people shows, really, when you think about it. You know, you might get an odd one from Carolyn Holland or Rex is involved with our shows quite often and stuff like that. But where is the new people? Where are the people that have been coming to meetings for 10 years and have never participated in a show? Where are they? Why are they not participating? So I think that is an underlying question that we need to answer as far as our shows go, is how do we get more people or new people to participate in those shows?
I think part of that is get the information out sooner and more organizedly.
I do agree 100% with that. And I come back to Dennis now with this cost effectiveness. When we get a new person, they don't want to spend $300 to put a picture on.
But there could easily be a mechanism to accommodate their need.
Right. But information in the newsletters or information in the weekly update or whatever of how to print or how to get stuff framed at a cheaper price, where discounts are available, when coupons are coming, when coupons are available, stuff like that could be very helpful to getting those people involved. We know how to go look for the 40% off coupons or the buy one, get one half off thing. And because we do it, we all do it. We're all looking for those deals all the time.
Yeah.
Do these new people know that, if you join MPix or, you get something cheaper, or you can get, you know, if you go over here, you can get that, or like the canvas people for $3.99, you can get a canvas printed right now.
Yeah, go to
Free
Sam's.
shipping,
Brian,
which isn't really that expensive.
what about that new Google Drive? What about having a PDF in there that I could link to from the Sunday update that would have a list of a bunch of different labs, a bunch of different places to get frames, and a few tips and hints as far as get on mailing lists and get stuff.
I am 100% for that. I
Okay.
have absolutely no issues at all with that. I think that would be a great idea.
'Cause then we could
And something
link
that we
to
can
that.
add to as we find out, you know.
Hi, Gracie.
Yeah,
You know, or if you see something coming out that's, you know, you've got a, you know, so you got an email that said, hey, there's a special here. Put that in the Sunday update. You know, for this week, there's a special going on at MPix. You can get 8x10s or 11x14s for $2.99 or whatever it is. Helping people find that stuff, I think, will help people get involved with shows. I lost my train of thought now, but that's the kind of things that we need to figure out as far as how do we get participation, because it shouldn't be 8 people producing 40 photographs. It should be 15 people producing 40 photographs, so that we don't have to produce 6 or 7 each. We can produce 1, 2, maybe, and get more people participating for a club show. Now, if you want to produce a show of your own, go to it. Go produce the 11 or 15 or 25 photos on your own and put it up, and they'll have nothing to do with the WPS, but we'll advertise it for you. You know, Beth, I think I know that the show you were referring to, I believe, was with Lori.
yep, at the Latrobe Hospital.
Latrobe Hospital. And after that, I did a show with Lori at the Latrobe Hospital where I produced the half of the pictures. You know, so yeah, I understand that. And I've done shows on my own and produced that whole cost. And I know John has. So anyhow,
Hey, Brian,
Yes.
before we leave the show subject completely, you had asked earlier, like, well, what other locations could we possibly use
I agree.
that would be price effective, if you will, for us? If you discount the need to have enough foot traffic and interest in the purchase of our photos off the wall, just hold that thought, if you will. The show that we had a few years ago at the Monroeville Library, that was a nice space.
it was a beautiful show.
So my question would be, so that's a possibility to go back there, but I'm thinking Greensburg has a library. Ligonier has a library.
They'll do it in their basement. We used to show in Ligonier all the time.
We used to show in Greensburg Library too.
Go, Jim, go ahead with your comment, and then I'll make some comments on each one of those places.
Okay, well, okay. All I'm saying is, and I'm not sure about if Latrobe has a library or not, but let's forget about a specific library and what didn't work previously, whether it was in a basement somewhere or not. Is a library, just in the general concept, is a library an acceptable location for us to have a show?
It is if they have an acceptable place to hang a show.
Okay,
Does that make sense? So
yeah, definitely.
the Monroeville Library has a little gallery that you mentioned.
Yep.
And that's what it's there for. So yes, that would be a great place to go hang pictures. The Penn Hills Library has a gallery. It's actually fairly big. That would be a great place to hang a show. The Ligonier Library, you'll be in the basement. Was it Ligonier or Latrobe that was basement?
Ligonier.
Ligonier.
Ligonier's in the
Ligionier's
basement.
the basement. And a few people go down in the basement.
So you're limited. You're putting pictures up in a dark hallway in Ligonier.
Yeah.
There's really no benefit to that. The Latrobe Library doesn't have a place to hang. We had to produce a place to hang pictures in their library for them. And the same thing as the Greensburg Library. They do not have a designated area. We produced a place to hang pictures, and they hung a few here and there if they had an open spot on the wall where they thought maybe they could stick a picture on the wall. So those places were not
Good.
oriented to have any kind of show of any sort, whether it be art or photography or whatever, anything. Now, Penn Hills Library, absolutely, they have a beautiful gallery. Monroeville Library had a beautiful gallery. Those places, absolutely, I wouldn't, and there's no reason why we can't go to those places.
Right.
Penn Hills, like I said, it's pretty big though. The last time I had something in there was 300 pieces
Thanks.
in that gallery, including, and that included
big.
both 2D and 3D art. So it's big. But yeah, absolutely. Those are places we can do. There's if we, like you said, if we put away the idea of we're going to sell something, there's the DV8 place in Greensburg. It's called DV8. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Coffee shop,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania Avenue.
There is a place called, give me 1 second. I had it up here a minute ago. Oh, 28 West 2nd.
What is it?
28 West 2nd Gallery. It's in Greensburg.
That must be the new one. One just
Um,
opened up here within the last year or so.
Yeah,
So I don't know anything about it, but it is a gallery. So maybe it's a place we can check into, find out if there's something we can do.
Could you repeat the name of it? I can check that.
It is 2828 West 2nd Gallery.
Okay.
You know, when I go to Google and say, give me art galleries near Greensburg, there's not a whole lot shows up, as Beth mentioned in one of her emails.
Yep.
You know,
Which is what I did.
Westmoreland Museum of Art shows up, but of course they're not doing anything right now. They're closed. The Greensburg Art Center for the Row Gallery, that shows up. We already know that cost $1,000. And that was on a discount and a begging them for help. Was $1,000.
what about using Hannistown again and use that gallery?
I do believe that would be a possibility, but it would be a show that would have to be specific for them. Again, would be my guess.
Yeah, Brian, I think I can address that a little bit maybe.
Yes, you can.
The last time I talked to Joanna, if you recall, the hallway there was dark, although she wanted to hang some of our prints up there.
They were supposed to put
she's-
lighting in.
She thinks they've got approval to relight the hallway.
Okay.
And when it even like for the tree portfolio that they're considering, now that's part of their exhibit on the woodworking.
Right.
So, you know, we won't have anything hanging in there except what they want for that particular exhibit. But she would be interested, I think, in hanging other tree photos during that exhibit in the hallway.
Okay.
So this doesn't directly answer Dennis's question, but I think if in fact they relight the hallway, that's a fairly long hallway. So that's certainly a potential for show space, if you will. I don't know, I suspect going forward that the gallery will be for exhibits related to Hannistown in some fashion or another going forward. I would be surprised if they would give it up to us just for a photo exhibit. I could be wrong, and we certainly could ask them about that.
It's
And we might even be able to slip in between two exhibits
Yeah,
for a month somewhere.
it certainly would be a question to ask. And we know that they have the ability to cut that gallery in half as well.
Yeah,
So they can partition that off and use part of it for, if they got something smaller going on, we might get the other half of that to do a show in. So it's, Hannistown, I think, is definitely a place that we can work with. And at least find out if we can have a show there at some point in the future. But I don't think it's going to be like a reoccurring show every November. You're going to have that show. It be sporadically from time to time where they'll have the ability to allow us there.
yeah, I think you're right there.
We've got a good working relationship with them, and I think that is helpful.
Mhm.
So,
Well, and having a show where we have to do something within a certain topic is not necessarily a bad idea either.
no, not at all. I mean, a lot of the PSA shows in Pittsburgh were like that. They gave you a topic and that's
Mhm.
what you photographed, or that's
Yeah.
what your art reflected.
Yeah.
And if they didn't feel it reflected it whenever you sent your $35 entry fee in and your picture, they went, "No, sorry, but we're keeping your money, thank you."
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, having a theme show is definitely um, not out of the realm of reason. And I think we got away from them for our shows was trying to get more participation. You know, um, if it comes down to it, and it's only going to be the 10 or 12 of us all the time, then yeah, let's have a theme show. I don't care. Uh, but to try to get participation from members that don't show up all the time, an open show is easier to do.
Yeah.
For them because, if we say waterfalls and they don't take pictures of waterfalls, then what are you going to do? Kind of thing. But anyhow, as far as other places to show in Greensburg, I don't know. Like
Much.
when Google can't give me that much information, I'm pretty sure there's not much going on down there.
Well, Brian, and I wasn't going to begin anything tracking this one down until we heard back from the Westmoreland Museum, but Seton Hill has that art center, if you will, down near the Palace Theater.
I've been there, yeah.
Okay.
And I know they have student showings there, but something tells me that they've also had non-student shows as well. So that's a possibility there.
Okay.
It might be worth asking because I mean, the worst anybody can do is say, nope, sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we can call all these places. If you go to Google and search art galleries, or I think that's what I did, art galleries near Westmoreland or near Greensburg, the Yelp version comes up. You get 10 art galleries in the area. And when it says 10, I'm talking about, it's giving me stuff in Lincoln Heights, which is definitely not close to the area, but there are Alex Fletcher's art galleries. Anybody ever heard of that?
What is it?
Alex Fletcher Art Gallery.
It's listed on Todd School Road, which is right where the Greensburg Art Center is too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that it's part of them.
It's two different addresses though.
Oh, is it?
DV8 Espresso Art and Frame Art Galleries.
Okay. That place, that space there is very small
Okay.
as far as DV8
Well,
goes.
I'm just reading off the list.
Yeah, I know.
Uh,
I'm just saying.
Hey, what about Johnstown, Somerset? Out, east instead of west.
that's fine with me, but we're going to be stepping on people's toes up that way.
Yep.
Well, I realize that, so.
Hey, like I said, it's fine with me. I don't have a problem with it. I'm just making that, making sure everyone's aware of that, because there's a Johnstown Camera Club and there's a Somerset Camera Club. We'll be stepping on toes.
Right.
Margie, to be honest, to me, that's a long way to drive for drop off and pickup and reception. And
Oh, no,
Well, it'd be no different than me going over to Hannistown.
not at all.
oh, I think so.
Not at all. I've driven to Newcastle for a drop off, drive back to Newcastle for pickup, drive to Newcastle for the opening reception. Yeah, it's not that far. Anyhow, I mean, those are some of my thoughts of what was going back and forth. Labels, I think they need to say Westmoreland Photographer Society on the label so that people see that. We need to advertise it as a Westmoreland show, as a Westmoreland WPS show.
And when you see something come through on Facebook from Feathers, like make sure that you're following whatever gallery has the stuff up. So when they post something, everybody shares it
Yeah, absolutely. Try to promote
so
yourself.
that it gets even farther, because that helps Feathers, which will help us too. Or wherever it is, because they all have Facebook pages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
So
heard also, somebody told me like Chef Dato's up in Derry will put work up on their walls. I don't know how long, I don't know like the length of time that they will put them up, but I know in the summer they used to get a lot of business through there.
I mean, we've had shows in a lot of different places over the years. We had a show at Frank Lloyd Wright's place. We
Yeah.
had a show.
Kentucky Knob.
Yeah, at Kentucky
Yeah.
Knob. We had a show at Seven Springs.
Yep.
In a restaurant up there.
Yep.
That was at Helen's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had shows at a lot of different places. But we need to kind of, I would love to be able to do a show at the place in Ligonier, the Allegheny, whatever it is. What's it called?
Gamma.
Southern
Southern
Allegheny.
Alleghenies.
But if we would go to them and say, can we do a show here? They would most likely laugh at us,
They probably would.
because they're, in my opinion and in my experience, very,
Uppity.
Snooty.
is a good word. Snooty's a good word. I can think of a few others.
Ligonier.
I'd done a little tiny show one time in Ligonier at what's
Not-
I forget what the name of the gallery was.
Yeah, and they shut down.
no, they still have their place. They have a new place.
Well, they have another gallery here in town, but I'm talking about the one off of Main over there by the,
At the used bookstore.
no, the
Yeah.
one over there that used to be by Martin's, by the town hall, by Martin's. There used to be a gallery there,
Yeah.
an actual gallery.
The one I'm thinking of was in the bead shop with
Yeah.
Andrew and
Right, and they have moved uptown now,
Right.
over by the theater.
but they still do little. That's a little show. I mean, I don't know what it is now, but there it was a little show. I think I did 12 photographs there, and they weren't no bigger than an 8x10.
Yeah, it's a small shop.
But there's lots of little places to do shows, but do they fit for the WPS? I don't know.
Yeah.
We need to find places that fit the WPS. So, You Are Here is a possibility. Melissa's going to reach out to them in the last email that I received from that onslaught.
Well, You Are Here, the email that I just got from them, I'm on their list. They're shut down till January 4th.
They have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to be. That's
Yeah.
Yep.
all
What
museums.
about, what about during a special event, and they're all the time special events in Ligonier, where we might be able to, there we go again, $100, $200, rent an empty building on Main, because we do have some empty buildings where we can hang our own stuff and advertise it. And then when they have that special event, they always have several thousand people coming in town. Just a thought, throwing it out there.
It's a thought, but what would be the cost other than renting of the building? Then you got to make sure that it's the
Well,
wall.
we're already insured, so we don't have to worry about that, but
No, I mean, you got to make sure that the walls are painted and that it's presentable and that it's ready to go.
Well,
Hang
that's
pictures.
right. It would have to be a building like that.
The
And
cost
tend-
would be,
You'd have to tend the building as well.
yeah, there would be a cost to that.
Done enough art all night shows. It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
You have to go and get the building ready for a show.
yeah.
A lot of work.
Right.
Yep.
So, anyhow, I'm gonna come down off of my list. I think I've covered all the topics that I wanted to bring up. You guys can, feel free to continue to discuss and think about it, bring stuff up in the future. But yeah, our shows need to be, we need to get more people involved in our shows. I think we as a group have to remember that it's not a guaranteed sell. We're not always going to sell something. We may never sell anything. I've never approached art shows that way. If I do a complete show by myself, I hope I sell something. But when I participate in a group show of any sort, I've never had that in my mind that it was going to be a response or a return on my investment for that show. And I've showed over the years in everywhere from little tiny restaurants. We used to show in the Ponderosa in Greensburg, to to little restaurants in Somerset, to Onslaught full galleries that only show art. And I've never expected any one of those places to sell anything. It's just, I've always done it with the intentions of, let me show you my work. I want people to see it, enjoy it. And hopefully someone at least looks at it and goes, I like that. That was pretty cool. I joined originally the Associated Artists with the intention of being able to show at the Carnegie Museum. And that was the only reason I went through the whole process of being involved in the Associated Artists. And then they quit showing at the Carnegie Museum. So, and that was a huge cost and a lot of time put into getting into their shows. But anyhow, that's all I got for that.
Would it be worth keeping track of places where members could go see if they can get shows on their own? If people are interested, like places that are too small to do a big show, but keep them in mind if you want to do your own little, like 5 to 10 things kind of thing.
I think any list of information that we can put together, we should put together.
Okay.
No matter what it is. If it's, a list of where to get your pictures printed, a list of where framing can be done, a list of, where's the good place to buy mats, a list of here's places that showcase, an artist for 8 or 10 pictures and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. I think any list that we can put together for people to look at and have access to, I think is well worth having.
Yeah.
Especially for newer members.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm thinking about, I wouldn't mind putting a picture in a contest. Okay, here's a list of contests. And I know Margie, when she did the newsletter, her and Gene, I don't know where he came up with them, but he always had a bunch of contests, whether they be local or international. Some were free to enter and some had a cost to them or whatever, but right. Maybe we can get back into adding a list into the newsletter of contests that are going on. Anything that will get people involved. Once you get people involved in putting their work out, I think it'll be easier to get them involved in putting their work in our shows.
I'd like to get people to share their work in our meetings.
That would be great too.
That would be.
I think getting a new member to put a print at Feathers isn't going to happen if they won't show a photo in a meeting and talk about it. I think you got to get people to share their work and talk about it to get them comfortable with making photographs.
Yes.
We seem to have a real problem doing that.
Well, I think this year at Feathers, we had more new things from different people than previous shows.
Yeah, you and I both were talking about that at the show.
Yeah.
How many new prints were actually there on the walls. And it was really refreshing and good to see, a lot of new pieces.
Let me ask this question. not necessarily new pieces, but new artists. How many new artists did we have?
Actually, Brian, as you were talking earlier, I started writing down, there were quite a few. The ones that I remember, Donna and her son, whatever her son's name is.
Was Ollie?
Jim Meehan,
Okay.
Tom Long,
Yep,
Candy.
Yep.
And now, not new, but other members that don't participate probably ever on like our Zoom calls. Angela Stepien had some prints there again.
Yeah.
yes.
Pretty steady. So anybody else, can you help me? Those are the ones I recall offhand.
What about Suzanne?
Suzanne,
Suzanne's newer. She's not
Yeah.
totally new.
Right.
New, but she is newer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So of those people that you mentioned, if I look at Reddit or think about Reddit offhand, Candace or Candy participates on Reddit, and Tom Long.
Yep.
Suzanne, I'm not counting. She's been around long enough to where,
Yeah.
but of the people you listed, those two people participate on Reddit at least.
Yeah. And Donna has submitted to at least one or two contests.
Okay. So a little bit of participation there. So back to what Dennis said, if we get these people to at least start talking about their pictures on Reddit or here on our Zoom meetings or some sort of like that, maybe we can get people involved in actually getting into a show then. What's the direction or the path that we need to help them along with to get them into a show? And that could very easily be the starting point, is getting them to at least show the group a picture and say, even if it's 3 words, I shot this at Ohio Powell. Okay, we'll take it from there. We'll talk about it. But when we do that, then we go back to Margie preaches 99.9% of the time she talks. The word that comes out of her mouth is critique.
Critiquing. Yep.
So, maybe we, and we've got a plan, I hope, a better plan this year going forward to get more critiquing involved in our meetings. So, we've addressed that in our planning meeting, and we're hoping that will help out a little bit, and maybe that'll help with getting people involved, talking about their pictures.
Which, by the way, Margie, I didn't hear that. Thank you, Jim, for taking care of the critique at last Monday's meeting.
Thank you, Jim, for taking care of the critique at the last Monday meeting.
You are
Did I do it
welcome,
right?
Margie.
Did I do it right?
I
really do.
perfect.
I mean, I really, really do appreciate it. I don't think you would have wanted me there. So we'll leave it like that.
And Jim, I will say thank you for taking care of the critique
And the whole meeting.
Yeah,
And for hurting the cats.
Me and Margie had already talked, and I was in the process of going to take care of the critique for Margie, but then I had my own personal problem, and so thank you for stepping up and making things happen for us.
You
You are
didn't
welcome
want
also.
to, you didn't want to run a long extension cord from your uncle's, or he didn't have any electric either?
No, I was going to run an extension cord from my generator. I have a little tiny generator. I was going to put
Yeah.
out and
Oh,
stuff
that's right, you do.
and do that, but then I'd had to run a few things, and there was no heat in here, so that was the biggest.
Wait a moment. Brian's complaining about no heat. I'll remember that the next time you bitch at me about getting cold.
Well,
Okay, well.
I was outside yesterday in a t-shirt
Mhm.
for an hour. So
All right. You mentioned the Monroeville Public Library.
yeah.
They are not accepting anything right now. The call for orders has been canceled. We will post an update when we have more details. So I went ahead and looked it up.
Yeah, I would truly understand that to be the case right now. We're looking into the future at this point, because
Yeah.
now everything's closed.
Yeah,
They're not allowed to have anything open because of the idiot in Philadelphia or whatever county's in Harrisburg. Which, by the way, Dr. Levine, who says you can't go to bars, was in a bar in New Jersey, or no, Delaware, yesterday in a bar, sitting in a bar having a drink with some people with no mask on.
Oh, jeez.
They filmed her and she took off running out the door, and she or he or it or whatever it is ran out the door and left when they realized that they were being filmed. So anyhow,
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that everybody else shouldn't wear a mask. Just because some of the top officials don't wear masks doesn't mean that
Well-
we, as the citizens of the United States, should not wear a mask.
I'm not
Right.
advocating one way or the other for mask or not against mask.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that the person that's telling you that you absolutely cannot go to a bar, you cannot have a drink, and you cannot be anywhere without a mask was doing all those at the same time.
I know.
So anyhow,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go political tonight. Promise.
No, we don't want to do that.
Although I will tell you that if you decide to use the snow and go outside and build snowmen, you're only allowed to have 3 in your yard. They have to be 6 feet apart.
They all have to wear a mask.
Yes.
Hmm.
So
Hey,
that in mind.
I will tell you from driving home, and we closed down early, that do not go out on those roads.
I was out running around a little while ago. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, do not, if you do not have to go anywhere, do not go on those roads because they are not nice, period.
I actually texted the guys at work and told them to be careful on the way home tonight because it was pretty nasty out today.
Yeah, our district manager called at about 5 till 5 and said, you're shutting down at 5:30. The mall closed at 4. They originally said they were closing at 6. And next thing we knew, the whole mall was closed.
Well, you
So-
know, I've been out there sweeping the deck for the dogs. I'm letting the snow get on there because I almost killed myself because up underneath that snow was ice.
Yep,
So
that's the
I just
problem.
I'm not going to do that, you know?
Right.
Yeah, don't go out.
Yeah,
Wasn't
Texas
fun.
is calling me. I hear it. Texas is calling me.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Bet there'd be some pretty pictures out there, though.
yep. Yeah, but I'm just concerned with my niece getting home from work from Monroeville.
Leaving Monroeville won't be too bad.
Was that DL?
Monroeville does a pretty good job of taking care of their roads, but once you get off onto the secondary roads or outside
Yeah.
of Monroeville, yeah.
Yeah,
Penrose doesn't
well-
do anything. Murraysville doesn't do anything.
Well, they said
Yeah.
30 was pretty bad. on the-
30 was bad. It was totally covered.
Yeah, they said
So,
they in a couple of spots, so.
yeah, DL, she'll be coming down 48 to 30. And I'm just, and
She might wanna
30
find a
30
different
was
way around
totally
that, 'cause
covered whenever I came home. So I'm hoping that by the time she's done at 11 o'clock that it's cleared.
Yeah, 48's it's kind of steep.
Yeah,
Yeah, you go down to 130 out of Monroeville down to 130. It's all downhill, and then you have that big hill up and over to get to 30.
yep.
Yeah. I've been known to hit the Denny's at 48 and 30 and just hang out there for a few hours waiting for a truck to go by and then go.
Yeah, she said if it was nasty, she's just gonna stay there for a while. So I don't know if she'd have a bed to sleep in now. But yeah. Because I've already been I texted her whenever I come home.
So, anyhow, those of you that are not officers, we do have next year planned out. That'll be in I believe, the next newsletter. So that is exciting. We was able to do that in 2 nights, which is exciting for us.
Record.
I believe that was a record time. And
Well,
I think we've got a pretty good year planned out and some things that will be added in as the year goes on. So I'm excited about it. And I think we planned it out to where we can go either way for the most part, as far as whether we'll be meeting face to face or meeting like this. So we took that into consideration throughout the process. That's-
While I'm at it, I was nominated, without me realizing it, Jim, to take over the meeting for showing how you not process your photos, but to show how you bring your photos in. And how many other people are planning on doing that besides Jim and I?
And do what?
Well, I use Explorer. I take everything and I put it in Explorer. And then I bring it into Lightroom.
Hold on, Marty. Let's explain what it is that you're talking about first.
I don't know. I am so freaking tired right now. I can't even
All right.
speak.
Well, hang on. I'll explain it. Dennis, we're going to have a
Import.
This is how you use Lightroom.
short. Yeah, we're going to have some short 5-minute. This is next week or next month, right?
Next January meeting.
Yeah.
January, yeah. How do you import your photos?
How do you-
Well, Margie, it's not just how do you import, it's a general topic of file management.
Right.
Okay.
So
Yeah, and I got elected for it, Jim.
what we're looking for is a 5 minutes of how you manage your photos.
Yeah.
How do you store them? How do you manage them? What's your file system like? From a couple different people, so people can get kind of an idea of what they do. Because we've talked about this 1,000 times, and we all know that everyone here does it completely different. So we thought, well, maybe we'll put together a few people and say, hey, this is how I do it. This is how I get them in here. This is how I find them, kind of thing. This is how I store them.
Label them, etc., etc.
Whatever process you use, just kind of briefly go over it and say, this is what I do. I go out and take pictures. When I bring them back, this is how they end up in Lightroom, kind of thing.
Or whatever else.
Or where, yes.
Yeah,
or-
wherever you put them, whatever you do to them to get them to the point where you're going to work on them. That was what we were interested in.
Well, and Margie, just to clarify, I think the only thing that, I hate to say your only involvement in this is, don't take me wrong. I think Beth had asked people to simply in the news, the Sunday update, to let you know whether they wanted to participate and get a time slot for 5 or 10 minutes. There's nothing that you need to do at the
I
meeting
know.
itself.
I'm harassing you.
Oh,
on.
okay.
Mal, get over it. I don't mind. I know. I had already said that I was going to show my way of doing it. You let me know that you were going to show your way. But Beth, you may have a way. Dennis, the rest of we all need to put our input in, is what I would like to see.
I'll be glad to do that.
All right.
Yeah, because
I can do that.
as we all know, I tried a new way this year, and I'm not doing it again next year. So I need
Yeah.
to learn a new way for next year. So January's coming. I got to start a new catalog pretty soon and figure out how I'm going to do it. So hopefully you guys have some good ideas and help me out this time.
Are we going to get some external speakers?
We have some.
Do we have some?
No, we don't have anything scheduled with external speakers, but
You know, one of the things about Zoom is Michael Gordon, who's taken me through Death Valley, a great photographer, great environmentalist. He might be willing to give an hour talk on his art, the issues of photographing in Death Valley for a minimum fee, I think. I don't know that. Because Cole Thompson's another one. Who I heard talk at a Camera Club Zoom meeting. And some of them will do it if you promote the talk locally so they can get names to add to their mailing list. But Thompson gave a good talk. Who else did I hear?
John Barclay,
Barclay.
Sarah Marino.
Yeah.
Later this year, I'll be hearing Clyde Butcher.
Yeah.
Alistair Ben, although he's in Scotland. So
Yeah.
Hey, Absolutely. If we can contact them and get them involved or find out what we got to do to do that, let's do it.
Yeah, really.
I'd be more than glad to host that and, advertise
Yeah.
the hell out of it with,
You invite Somerset, you invite Johnstown,
yeah, absolutely. I'd be more than glad to do
invite
that.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we could get somebody to do that, I'd be thrilled to do that and advertise the hell out of it and get people involved in it. So yeah.
Do you know him well enough, Dennis, to shoot him a note and ask him?
Michael Gordon?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
find out how much he usually, if he would.
He might do it gratis, but Barb and I have gone with him twice into Death Valley, and he knows it like the back of his hand. So we went to places that everybody goes to. We went to Zabriskie Point, but we also went to places. We went to waterfalls in Death Valley that we had to. Well, we survived, and but people don't go there because they don't know it's there. But he does, and he's got a 4-wheel drive, appropriately equipped, and very much a very conscious environmentalist. But I'll ask him.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be
That'd be fantastic.
Really. Yeah.
And to say this, whenever it is that he wants to do it, we'll adjust everything to make that
Yeah.
happen. I mean,
Beth, any you could ask?
um,
What about Barkley? Do you know Barkley well enough to ask him?
Maybe I haven't actually met him, so,
All
but
right.
I do have his email address, so.
Yeah.
feel free to contact and ask. I mean, as we've said before, it's, it don't hurt to ask. All they can say is no.
Yeah.
If they say no, so what? We move on.
I don't think they'd ever say no, but they might say yes, and here's the fee.
Well, and
Right.
tell them, hey,
Well,
we're a
that's fine,
small
too.
club, but we were interested in this. What would you
Yeah.
charge? Or could you do this? What would you charge? And if it's too much, it's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we can definitely figure out maybe even how to cover a cost on something like that. Maybe we sell
You know-
tickets to it. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
They've been doing a lot of Zoom where they've had different subjects and they're charging for them, their
Yeah.
musicals and etc. And they charge for it.
I mean, we could very much figure out how to do that using like Eventbrite or something like that we've used in the past, and say, hey, we've
It
got
notices something,
who's going to give a
doesn't
talk on Tuesday night or Monday night or whatever, and go here, buy your ticket, and you get your invitation to the meeting. And that the money for the tickets will cover the cost.
Yeah.
So yeah, whatever we got to do,
Yeah.
we'll figure it out. I like it. It's a great idea.
Yeah, that is.
And I believe I can do up to 250 people on a Zoom meeting with the plan that we currently have. So
Oh,
yes, great idea.
So if anybody's interested, I'll change the subject briefly here.
Nope, not interested.
I invested some dollars earlier today into Topaz Labs. I've been seeing enough YouTube videos on it. I thought I'd give it a chance.
Uh-oh.
I
see
haven't had time to play with it.
Is that the whole complete suite?
Well, here, I'll tell you what I got. They have what they call a utility package,
Uh-huh.
and it includes denoise AI, gigapixel AI, sharpen AI, and something that's called JPEG to RAW AI. If you wanted to convert if you got a JPEG from someone, but you'd like to do some intensive photo processing, supposedly it can convert it to RAW and
That
feed
package is
itself more.
good.
So pricing, and this is what made me, I've just been kind of looking into it, didn't think I was going to buy it because I knew they were a little bit expensive. Those four together, their normal price is roughly, I think, like $350 $300 to $350 total. The bundled cost was $175. It's on sale between now and the end of the year.
Yeah.
And I got an additional 15% off by using a off code, if you will, or a discount code from Anthony Morganti's website. So the whole package ended up costing me basically $150.
Well, that's not bad because I've been looking at Topaz. I used some of Topaz already, but I wanted the whole complete set, especially the denoise and the sharpening. They look like they're really going to be good.
Yeah, I used Topaz many years ago. I had come across a few of their programs that I figured out how to get.
For a while there, they gave it free.
I've never went further than that with it. I know that what's that Radcliffe, is that his name?
Yeah.
Trey or something like that. Is a big fan of the Topaz stuff, and he does. Trying to think, I see pictures of his from Burning Man all the time. He's a big. He covers Burning Man all the time, and does a lot of HDR stuff. So.
Well, I've got the Topaz where I can do HDR and a few other things, but I really wanted that sharpening and the denoising. From what I could see, it really did look like it was going to do a good job.
In
So 150 is not bad for those 4 items. I don't know anything about the AI though. I haven't looked that far into it. But I do like Topaz. I use it.
In other software news, Luminar AI is now live and available to be purchased. That we had talked about a little bit a few weeks ago.
99, I think.
Less than that, I think.
They do have a package too, I think, of Luminar 4 and AI. And I don't remember how much that was, but I think just the AI was 99. Unless you find a better price.
What's the upgrade cost on that?
Luminar AI is $99.
Yeah. And for Luminar 4 and AI package still, how much was it?
Margie, I think they had that package prior to
That was
Luminar
before.
AI coming out.
Yeah, that's not on their website right now.
That was just to
It
get
was only
you.
last week.
I'm looking at it today, right now. It's not
Okay.
on it.
It's not on there anymore.
Nope.
Might have been one of those Monday specials, Friday deals.
Well, Margie, there's at this, now that Luminar AI has come out, there's really no need to have Luminar 4.
That is correct, because Luminar AI has all of Luminar 4 Plus.
Okay.
And actually, if you go to their website, the $99 price is for 2 computers. If you want it for what they call a 1-seat or a single computer, it's $79. And
Can you
I don't know.
upgrade from-
I do believe that our discount code will work for that. I'm not 100% sure. I have to check into that, but if there's an opportunity to put a discount code in there, do that. It's WPS 10, and it may give you another little discount on there.
That'd be great.
But you can buy for a license for 1 computer, $79.
Yeah, that's all I need. Jim, send me where that Anthony guy, that site there where you got your job. Can you email it out?
Well, I don't really have a site per se. He on YouTube, let me see if I wrote it down somewhere. He puts videos out on YouTube, and if you open up,
Then he's an affiliate for them, like we are for
yeah,
Right.
It's a discount code. Yeah.
Oh, here it is. So his discount code is AM, that's for Anthony Morganti, DISC, which is discount, 15. You get 15% off.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I definitely would like that one. Okay. So y'all have any more money of mine you want to spend?
Hmm.
I could use a new camera and a couple lenses.
I would just like you to pay my salary for a couple of days so I can take some time off to go take pictures.
I wish I had that money to pay your salary.
You could, because I don't get paid anything. So yeah, I just
I can't afford
Nothing is still nothing.
if I don't sell anything, I don't get paid anything. So
Yeah, I can handle that. That's an easy one.
I did actually charge the battery for my camera the other day.
Yeah, I got that done.
Yeah, I swap batteries.
Well, if anybody comes up with any contest, can you be sure and send it to Marty?
Yeah.
Any what?
That would be awesome.
Contests. Like whatever it was that Claire entered.
Right.
Oh,
Or even what, like Paul was on, what is the Pittsburgh Magazine, and he won all that money. Well, it's not all that money, but he won the money, and I think it was in there twice. So stuff like that is what we're looking for too. Because, I love Claire. I've always loved Claire. I always loved her landscape. But
yep.
the one that she won with, some of y'all out there have got just as good, if not better. So we need to start entering in more of these.
At least letting each other know about them.
That's it right there.
Who else did you say won money?
Well, Paul, with that Pittsburgh Magazine, twice he won money a few years.
Oh,
And I'm sure there's others in here that have won money. Melissa, how about her? With her, didn't she win some contest? Melissa, where are you?
yeah, she for the Westmoreland Arts and Heritage.
Yeah.
That one's been in the newsletter and the Sunday update.
Right.
The deadline is March 5th.
Yep. It has been. But that's what we're
to do it on March 4th.
We know they are out there. We just need to get them in the newsletter so other people will know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, things are slowing down. I'm gonna sign off and put my boots on and my coat and my hat and go shovel some snow.
Do we have any George Tice fans?
Unless it's quit snowing, it ain't even worth it.
On
Oh, it is. I do it in small parts. Hey, see you guys later.
All
Yeah.
right, bye.
Dennis, what was that? George who?
Tice, T-I-C-E.
T-I-C-E.
T-E.
Tice, T-I-C-E.
It's a famous photographed, what the hell's the name of the town? New Jersey. Yeah, you got the book. Yeah. Well, my point is PBS did a special on his life in 2018 that I had never seen. and they still can get it if you have the passport access. You can see it, and it's worth watching.
Okay. I have something that John Wacklow sent me when I was in Iowa. So that had to have been like 2013, 2014-ish
Yeah.
on him. That was really, really good.
Yeah, I'd love to see us get some of these speakers in and set up a charge to bring in a little extra money for us, at least to cover the speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see that too.
I've got an email out. I shot one out to the Yellow Dog Village. I'm just waiting for him to get back.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'll get back with you all on it.
And I know Marty said that we're okay for the
The cow.
whatever it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dairy farm,
But the Longhorns are out of the question.
that's true.
We probably ate them for dinner yesterday.
Oh, man, come on.
I know Margie did.
Annie and I can take you out to, if y'all want to see Longhorns, Annie and I know where to go to see Longhorns.
Yeah, you've been taking me up there to the boot shop that you told me about for how many years now? You have.
Whenever you're ready.
That's all right. It's on the same list as DC, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is. They have some nice knives up there too. Let me tell you, it's a good place. When we ended up going there, I kept telling Annie, "Oh my gosh, it looks just like Texas. Look at the shrubs." And I says, "It really looks like Texas here." Next thing we do, we turned a curve and there's a bunch of Longhorns.
Yep.
But it did. The whole vegetation around looked like Texas.
Yep. Margie thought I made a quick trip down to Texas.
Yep, I was looking for a good Tex-Mex restaurant. They stretch boots there too, which makes it real nice.
Yeah.
Oh, just
That was a really nice shop
Yeah, it
that
was.
we came upon.
Just stick your boots on, walk in the creek. That'll stretch them out.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, when you say stretch boots, it's usually around the calf area.
Oh, walk in the creek, it'll stretch them.
First, you gotta get them on.
that
If you
was
can't get
sweet,
it on at the
girl.
calf, then it gotta be stretched before you try to walk.
I always wear them like out in the dew or wet in the wet, and that way when they dry on your foot, they just form around your foot and they're
Oh
perfect.
my gosh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Don't,
No.
don't tell anybody that has a leather shop that they'll freak out. That's how I break my boots in.
Yeah, I've had leather that has gotten wet.
Makes it perfect though.
No, they shrink.
That used to be the way to get soccer cleats ready, is you stick them on and you go walk in the bathtub.
Yeah. Yeah, and then when you leave them on until they dry, and then they'll just fit right to your foot.
I've got a pair of leather gloves I can't even get into anymore because they shrunk, they got wet.
You got to keep them on until they dry.
Your hands
Yeah,
in
I
them
know.
while they were drying. Dennis posted the link to the PBS thing, guys.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You need to be a member. That's the only downside.
It's just a matter of signing up.
You gotta write them a check for $60, a donation. Any PBS station. So
Yeah.
what they call the passport.
Oh, okay.
There's probably all sorts of good stuff that you can get with that though, too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I think our time's about up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Billy made a bunch of cookies in there.
Where's mine?
I'm on my way over.
I am on my way to a full drive. I'll be there.
Y'all can just line up outside and I'll toss them to you.
Are we
Heck
meeting
yeah,
next
sounds
Thursday?
good.
What's
Yeah.
that, Dennis?
Are we meeting next week?
As far as I know, what's this week? Next week we're having our SWG meeting on Thursday night.
Yep.
Christmas Eve.
No,
Oh, I mean Wednesday night. I'm sorry. Yeah, Wednesday night, the 23rd.
Yeah.
Will be our SWG meeting, and that way we can take the Christmas and New Year's weeks. Well, we might do a SWG meeting on the 30th, but we're doing our actual SWG meeting on the 23rd next week.
Okay.
So that would be Wednesday night of next week, and then we'll decide if we want to meet the day before New Year's Eve or not.
I don't even, let me see what my schedule is.
What else do we have to do?
Really?
Exactly.
We may do that, we may have a meeting, but I wanted to schedule the SWG right before Christmas, and then if we wanted to, we could take the Christmas and New Year's break off and meet after that. But yeah, we'll have our SWG meeting on the 23rd, which is next Wednesday night. And then we'll go from there as far as if we want to do something the following week or not. That'll be up to y'all guys.
All right. I'm working 6 days again. All right. Daylight on Wednesday. Okay.
So
And unfortunately, I get to close Christmas Eve, but we close at 6.
But you
But I
could be in the
figured that was
restaurant
coming.
business.
Huh?
You could be in the restaurant business.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm glad I'm out of the restaurant business. I at least know with this job that I have 40 hours a week coming. So
Yeah.
that was one thing when it snowed and stuff that, you'd get phone calls, hey, don't come in, or, and in January and February would lose hours. So no, I'll take it. At least I know I have an income, 40 hours a week.
Something to be said for that.
Yeah,
yeah,
a lot better for me. And right now I've been working, last week it was 6 days, this week 6 days, next week 6 days. So I'll take it while it's here.
Slows down in January, February.
What's that?
Slows down in January and February.
Not for me.
Well, that's good. Really keeps you busy.
That's what I said, the
retail
majority-
fine, but because you get to be the manager, you get your time no matter what.
That's right.
That's right. So
It doesn't mean that she's not going to send her other people home and have to do extra work, but she at least gets her 40 hours.
yeah, I don't know what the hours drop down to, but I know that I've already been told that, come January and that I would be getting the majority of the hours.
Yeah.
So that's, for once I will have my hours without worrying about, only having 24 hours for a freaking week. So like I said, I'll take it.
Yep. All right. Well,
Alrighty.
hey, thank you very much. Thank you all for listening to me preach.
Yep.
Anytime.
Thanks for your comments, and continue the onslaught of emails if you choose. Include me, and I like reading them, so gives me something to do, and then something to talk about later. So, all right,
All right.
guys. I will see you. If I don't see you before, I'll see you next week.
All
All
right.
right.
Catch you later.
See you then.
All right. Good
Good
night.
night.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.